Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Don Thomas back again with another video. And here you have it, folks. Let's get into it, man. Today I wanted to talk about something that has been a reoccurring theme, or that I've been seeing it, or it's been brought up, I guess, in conversation in my own personal life, or whatever the case is. And I think it's still kind of relevant to, technology and everything that's happening in the world currently. And that's the story of the Tower of Babel, right? And I've been seeing it. I think I've seen Jordan Peterson, who I'm a huge fan of. He, I guess on his YouTube channel, uploaded a video of a lecture that he gave to his students where he was talking about the Tower of Babel. I think he's actually spoken on it a couple of times as well, too. I've actually had this conversation with my folks as well, too. And if you don't know, I'm not going to sit here and say I know the full length of the details of the story, but the overall gist is there was I guess the Babylonians, the city of Babel, right, or Babylonia, if I'm not mistaken. The subset of people take it upon themselves to build a tower that they say, quote, was to reach the height of God, right? They wanted this tower to, and I should also mention, of course, at that time, all these people all spoke one language. They all understood each other. They were all in sync with their ideas, their innovations, their beliefs, all things of that nature, basically. So they all spoke one language. They all got along. They all agreed on things. Everything was good. They were one people, one sound, one mind, one band, right? If you're a fan of Drumline, whatever the case is, one band, one sound. But nonetheless, they take it upon themselves one day to be like, you know what? All right, let's create a tower. And this tower isn't going to be any old tower. This tower, we want to be innovative, right? We want to make a name for ourselves, as they said, right? We want to make a name for ourselves. Let's create something. Let's build a tower that reaches the heights of God. This tower should be able to reach God, right? So again, that's just the idea of them being able to do something that they've never done before. We want to make history. We want to this, that, and the other. So, basically, in that story, of course, long story short, that whole project gets shut down. Because God, figures out and says, you know what? Nah, y'all are doing too much. You guys don't need to be doing that. And if you are, probably the reason why you guys even think that you can do such a thing is because of, this prideful era of just like, wanting to exalt ourselves and things of that nature, whatever the case is. But word has it that God was like, nah, I'm going to put a stop to all of this because y'all are doing too much, right? And what does he do? He makes it so that they can't understand each other anymore. He says, I'm going to come down. I'm going to stop this entire project, and I'm going to scatter these people across the lands, right? Across the world, whatever the case is. So these people, not only does the tower not get built, but the people no longer understand each other. The people get spread all over the faces, all faces of the earth, whatever. They no longer speak of one tongue. They no longer understand each other, which also is going to bring conflict and confusion and disarray, right? So I hear a story like that, man, and I compare it to modern times. Now, granted, of course, I don't know the religious beliefs of the people who watch these videos. Whether you believe in God, whether you don't believe in God, that's not the context of this video today. I'm more so speaking on the idea of, let's say we were to take that story at face value, right? Whether you believe it or not, whatever the case is, let's just say, let's just add that to the list of all the other stories that we've heard in our life, right? The point I want to bring up is this. First of all, I used to think sometime as well, too, like, man, like, what if we all spoke one universal language, right? That would alleviate so many problems that we see today, right? If we were all like Avatar. Well, I guess even within Avatar, they all had different tribes, whatever the case is. But even still, sometimes I think about, like, man, things would be a lot easier if we all spoke the same language, if we were all on the same page, right? And I even thought back, take back even further. If you want to think about, who was the first man, or the first man? How did we come to have all these cultures? Who was the first man and woman? Again, depending on what you believe, if it was Adam and Eve or whatever the case is. But how did we go from having one man, one woman, to now having different races, different cultures? And of course, I'm grateful of different cultures, right? We can see a lot of situations where having different cultures is good. It brings forth diversity and variety, right? We like eating other cultures' foods and their fashions and their their music and things of that nature. So I'm not saying I'm opposed to different cultures, but what if we all spoke one language? What if we all understood each other, right? I feel like that'll be able to alleviate some of the problems that we have now where there's just like mere discrimination. Oh, I can't understand you. Go back to your country, this, that, and the other, or all these things that we say to one another off of simply just cultural differences, off of just language barriers, this, that, and the other. So in a perfect world, I personally think like, man, it would be nice if we all spoke the same language. We all understood each other. When I spoke, you understood. When you spoke, I understood. I wasn't discriminating against you because of your cultural preferences and this, that, and the other. That would be pretty cool, right? I think that would alleviate a lot of the problems that we have today, that I think puts up a divide of all the people that are, around the world or whatever the case is, right? We see, of course, racism is still a thing, if not still growing. We see all these, attacks on certain subsets of people and this, that, and the other. And I think it's causing more harm and division than ever before. So I think about these things. All in all, I guess what I'm trying to get at, I bring up the story of Babel. I bring up, the idea of different cultures, whatever the case is, because looking at our current times right now, I feel like, man, again, this even ties into like the story of different, this ties into, one of the reoccurring themes on this channel that I always speak about is just like the advancement of technology and the rate at which it's moving, right? I think sometimes humans can be arrogant. I think sometimes we feel like we do hold the answers and we things do fall in our hands, in terms of like birth and creation. I did a video on, the ecto-life facility and, people, growing babies in facilities and this, that, and the other. There's certain things where I feel like humans have a tendency of being arrogant on, where it's just like we think that we're in control of a lot of things. And honestly, I think that's not the case. Yeah, I believe in getting blessed with certain gifts and abilities to do things and be innovative. But I think ultimately there's a line that should be drawn somewhere where it's like, you know what? We have enough. Like, we're good. I'm usually in most situations, I'm a big fan of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Like, it's working, right? What we've been doing is working. Yeah, we can innovate some things here and there to be more efficient, but let's not push it. Let's not overdo it, man. And I think that, again, is the direction that we're heading in. Thought it was interesting today as well, too. I might do a separate video on that as well, too. But, of course, the infamous Sam Altman of ChatGPT was in the hot seat, as they usually are. All these tech gurus and people, what are the cases? They get in the hot seat. They sit in front of Congress or whoever it is. They get asked some questions and this, that, and the other. And, again, the main topic being the technologies that are present today. The direction of which it's going, the speed in which it's going, the pros and cons of, even implementing such technologies in our society right now. The reoccurring theme is, yeah, it can be good, but it can also be bad. We've been hearing that for some time now. I think about things like this, man. Like, I think about this new era of technology and the advancements that we're embarking on. Are we doing too much? Are we the modern day Babylonians, or, that group of people where we feel like we can build things that outdo the natural way of things? Again, whether you believe in God or not, I personally believe in a higher power. But let's say you don't, right? Let's say you don't believe in God. Do you think that humans have the tendency of going against the grain when it comes to just the natural flow of how human civilization works? Are we spending too much time in the lab and mixing potions and, coming up with ideas that can innovate us to our own extinction? Sometimes I think that's the case. So I don't know, man. This was just something that was on my thought. I'm the overall point of this video, I guess, of what I'm trying to get across is, man, again, like I've been saying, sometimes it might seem as if we're doing too much. We're doing too much, and we're doing it too much at a speed that's going to expedite the process of our own extinction. I think personally, in terms of ChatGPT and all these other things, I'm seeing so many things right now like, hey, that can't be good, from the deep fake videos to ChatGPT, doing all these things. It's like to the advancements of things that are happening. I think I saw something the other day I might have done, I was thinking about doing a video on it where there was this like, they created a baby that had 3 genes. So they took the genes or I think it was the genes of like 3 people. If I can find it, I'll pull it up somewhere. Where it's just like, y'all are just doing whatever now. Y'all like, let's make a baby with 3 people and let's like, this is like, come on, bro. Come on, man. Again, I'm the guy in the movie that's just saying, hey, we should maybe chill out. Hey guys, do you think we should maybe, think this through a little bit more? But what always happens to that guy in the movie, we always see what happens to him. He's always the first to go. And that's maybe a role that I've found myself in, whatever the case is, but that's neither here nor there. Again, I'm not anti-innovation. I'm not anti-thinking outside of the box, but let's do it in a way where we can still feel good and have some type of moral, ethical, integrity about ourselves, where it's just like, yeah, we're innovating, but we're still, we're still good, man. We're going to innovate ourselves out the door is what I think. At a speed that doesn't have to be as fast as it's moving today. So that's the whole point of this video, man. Never want to ramble too much. Again, these are just like free thoughts that I guess I'm sharing with you guys right now, man. But I think about things like that, man. Are we the modern day Babylonians? Are we trying to innovate our way to supersede the natural flow of how life should work? Is that what we're doing right now? And will we regret it in the long, maybe it's too early to tell now, but will we regret some of the technological advances that we're so headstrong on now if we don't put a break and really put the ethical aspect to the forefront of those conversations? What are your thoughts, man? Love to hear them down in the comment section, of course. Always interested to get your take. As always, greatly appreciative of you guys tuning in, liking, subscribing, leaving comments. As greatly appreciative of you all for doing so. So, what are your thoughts? Share them down below, and I will catch you on the next one.